The Giants got dominated by the Jets today at joint practice. Let's talk about it. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by as we break down the first joint practice between the Giants and the Jets. And I said it in the intro, and I'll say it again. The New York Jets, they won the day, and they were talking a lot of noise about it following one of the last plays of practice where the Jets connected on a 50-yard touchdown down the left sideline. Sauce Gardner walks onto the field and waves bye-bye to every single person on the New York Giants sideline. They dominated the Giants, and they embarrassed them as well. And look, I hate doing this. I hate coming up on this show and having to share negative news, having to talk about the Giants struggling, whether it be at training camp, whether it be at joint practices, or the preseason, or hopefully not the regular season. I want to come up here and be optimistically, recklessly optimistic. I want to come up here and tell you how much I believe in this team and how good they are going to be. But I got to be myself. I got to be authentic, and I'm going to be real with you. And that's all I ask of you guys. You guys be real with me. I'll be real with you. I'm going to give you the uncut news that you need to hear. And right now I am worried about the New York Giants, and in specifically the cornerback room that they have right now. At practice today, where the Giants and Jets squared off in joint practices, the New York Giants defensive backs got cooked time and time again. We've talked on this show for quite some time that the Giants DBs are in a bad spot, and they need to go out and add more talent to that room. And that was evident today. Nick McCloud, a slot corner that is best to be at the back end of that depth chart, who is now being thrusted into that CB2 spot. It's just not where he is going to be most successful. And he was cooked today by Garrett Wilson, which is unfair to ask for Nick McCloud, the UDFA, obviously in the league for quite some time now, though to stack up against a first-round pick, Garrett Wilson, who in my opinion is a top 10 wide receiver in this league. Is it fair? No, but this is the cards that we have been dealt, where McCloud's going to have to be a starter, and he is simply just not a starting NFL caliber cornerback. Got beat time and time again by the New York Jets. And Deonte Banks, he didn't fare much better. He struggled as well. When the New York Jets went into their drive, where they, at the end of practice today, the Giants and Jets each got a drive where they had to drive the field, 4-down territory, where it was a 2-minute drill. And they picked on Deonte Banks time and time again. Connor Hughes, who covers the Giants and Jets, put this out. And I have a couple tweets from Connor. Thank you for being there and sharing the information. Go give him a follow. You would have saw that stuff there first. The Jets TD drive, orchestrated by Aaron Rodgers. First down to Garrett Wilson. He beat Deonte Banks. Complete to Allen Lazard. Incomplete to Wilson. Then first down to Wilson again. He was beat by Deonte Banks. Then yet again, a first down for Gibson. Beat Deonte Banks. Complete pass to Allen Lazard. Then an INT by Bobby Okereke, which was called back by an Andrew Phillips holding, and then a TD by Allen Lazard. Look, if Deonte Banks isn't going to be a CB1, if the guy you selected in the first round last year is not going to be that, that's okay. He can be a CB2. But where the Giants are at right now, they need him to be that guy because he's the only player on the depth chart at that position, in my opinion, that's got NFL talent. And I told you for weeks and months now that I was worried about his rookie year. Had some highs, had some lows. Looked like a rookie. Graded out as a 100th corner in the NFL by Pro Football Focus. Didn't have a great rookie year. Has showed some flashes. Thought he played well against Terry McLaurin at times. But if he is not going to be a CB1 for this football team, this secondary is going to be in trouble. Obviously, Garrett Wilson is really good. But you know what? So is CeeDee Lamb. So is Devontae Smith. So is A.J. Brown. So is Terry McLaurin. So are all these receivers in the NFL. Week in and week out, you're going to be facing a receiver in this league that's an absolute dog. So I thought Garrett Wilson would be a good litmus test, and the litmus test showed that these corners are not ready to compete at the highest level. It just is what it is. Like, you got to go out and add somebody. You didn't want to go out and get Stephon Gilmore for some reason. I was told he wanted to play for a contender. You know what the Minnesota Vikings are not? a contender, and he went out and signed there. If it was about money, you could have created plenty of cap space to go out and get Stephon Gilmore. I'm holding out hope that they go and find someone via a trade, waiver wire, or something, because the New York Giants need to make a move at the cornerback position ASAP. And I'm not talking about signing one of these veteran minimum guys off the streets that's going to be on this team for 2 more weeks before they get cut. Get somebody that's been there and done that and had success in this league at the corner spot. Because if they don't, it's going to be really hard for the Giants to win games this year. The Giants' offense had some ups, had some downs, but it was mostly meh. It didn't really look that good. They weren't explosive. They were working a lot of short, underneath stuff, play action stuff. I get that. But in the times they tried to take the top off the defense, didn't really work. I want to go back to this quote from Connor Hughes, who was at practice, saying, I had Giants quarterback Daniel Jones 12 of 18 passing today against the Jets defense. He threw a TD and ran one in, both during red zone period. He took 2 sacks. Jones and the offense went 4 and out and their move the ball 2-minute drill. The most important part of today's practice was the move the ball drill, and they went 4 and out. Should be noted, only 2 of Daniel Jones's 12 completions. 2 of his 12 completions were beyond 8 to 10 yards. Everything else short. Would have had a TD to Nabers, slight underthrow, but it was dropped. I'd sum up the New York Giants offense by saying it was woefully uneventful. They didn't take chances, weren't aggressive. So they were working on underneath stuff, and I get that. But at the end of the day, when you got to drive the field and you're working a 2-minute drill to go score a touchdown to win the game, you go 4 and out. You can't pick up a first down with 4 tries in practice on air when it's scripted. That's not good, ladies and gentlemen. 3-yard completion to Nabers. Nabers dropped the TD. Got to catch that. Heard it wasn't the best throw, but Malik Nabers, he talked about it after practice. He's got to be better. He said we beat ourselves. Mainly talking about himself. If the ball hits your hands, Malik, you need to catch it. You didn't catch it in the preseason opener against Derek Stingley. You dropped one again today. You're that guy. Be that guy all the time. Catch the football. Was targeted 6 times, had 3 catches, and he dropped that potential TD. This offense is not good enough to overcome mistakes like drops and missing out on touchdowns. They need to be hitting and firing on all cylinders at all times. Good offenses, they can make up for that. That's what really good quarterbacks do. I'm not sure if we've got one of those. We need to be on time, on target when we have to. Not sure we can make up for mistakes that are self-inflicted. I've got more practice news and notes coming up around the corner. We're going to talk about Brian Burns. Probably the most positive part of today's show. Brian Burns is that guy. He got the better of some studs on the Jets offensive line. We'll talk about that. Then we have injury updates with Dante Turbo Miller and Tyrone Tracy. And we'll talk about the Giants offensive line as well, who actually looked really, really good. But first, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, GameTime. If you're looking to buy tickets to maybe the Giants-Jets preseason game, you want to go catch the Mets or the Yankees before the summer's over, or you want to go to a concert or a theater event or comedy show, you can get your tickets with GameTime. They have the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. I love that prices drop as the event gets closer. I don't want to spend my money until I have to. And if you're telling me I get to wait and save money while doing it with GameTime, what are you waiting for? I also love the all-in pricing feature. That way, when I see that there are 5 tickets for $200, I pay $200. I don't get slapped in the face as I'm at checkout with an extra $55 in hidden fees. GameTime, they don't do that to you. That's why I only use GameTime. I don't know, it took me so long, but last summer I got hooked up with them. I've gone to Knicks games. I'm going to go to a Yankees game coming up against the Texas Rangers, and I also got to go see the Dead & Company concert last summer. That was awesome with my dad. You can do the same. Giants concerts and so much more. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use that promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. That promo code is CHATSPORTS, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Because we love and care about you, I'll make sure all that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. I'm seeing this just come across my timeline right here. Sauce Gardner was asked what he thought of Daniel Jones, and he's trying his absolute hardest to not clown on Daniel Jones. He's got a laughing face, and he says he's good. He didn't mean it. Teams don't respect him. It is what it is. Let's brighten the mood. Brian Burns, he's that guy, man. That dude is going to create havoc for the New York Giants defense, which sucks because Giants defense got cooked today. Obviously, no pass rush was really allowed, and I'm hoping that guys like Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence will make life easier for Deonte Banks, Nick McCloud, and hopefully the corner that they add once the regular season starts. Tyrone Smith, former Cowboys tackle, that's going to be a Hall of Famer. He had a really good day today for the New York Jets. Him and Burns went one-on-one a couple of times, and Smith said this: he's a heck of a player, man, and he has all my respect. And he should, because he's an absolute dog. And he's going to be great for the Giants this year, and I can't wait to watch this defense, especially the line of scrimmage, the front five, front four, whatever you want to call it, put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. I want to see them make life hell for Sam Darnold and for other quarterbacks that they play this year. And let's be honest, if the Giants are going to be anything that we want them to be, if the Giants are going to be playing late into the season, playing meaningful football games, it's going to be because Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon Thibodeau are the heartbeat of this team, and they are the reason the Giants are an elite defense. It's really the only way I see them being great this year. Their defense has to be special. And that stinks because today they got cooked. But obviously, practice, you don't get to have a full-on pass rush and tear a quarterback's head off. Hopefully, 5-97-0, they'll be able to create some pressure and generate wins for this football team. Loved how Tyrone, Tracy, and Dante Turbo Miller were back at practice. Neither played in the preseason game against the Houston Texans on Saturday. And for them to be back active at practice and healthy, especially after Tyrone Tracy was carted off and his leg was put in an air cast, the fact that he's ready to go, that's awesome. You guys know how I feel about Tyrone Tracy. I think he's going to be a stud. I think by the end of the season, we're going to see a little bit closer of a gap between the carry share between Devin Singletary and him, as we're already seeing Tyrone Tracy work with the first-team offense for the New York Giants. That was a pleasant surprise today at Jets joint practices. And overall, I really think there's a lot of talent in this Giants running back depth chart. Yeah, that one guy's not here anymore, but there are other players that are more than capable of making an impact in the NFL. Devin Singletary is a solid running back. Is he going to go for 1,500 yards? Is he going to break 80-yard touchdowns? No, but he's going to find the hidden yards. He's going to punch it in between the tackles, and he's going to be tough to stop, and he's going to run through arm tackles. He's consistent. He doesn't miss games. Eric Reyes looks solid in the preseason. We all think Tyrone Tracy is going to be good. And Dante Turbo Miller, that's a really fun story as well. I say all this to say this about practice, and I always come back. I want to start wrapping up these videos with one and final point. My final point today, and I've said this time and time again, is the starters. I was really adamant about the starters on offense playing. But the starters on offense and defense, they need to play Saturday versus the New York Jets. This team needs all the live work that they can get. Because if you start this season 0-1 and you lose to the Minnesota Vikings, which is a winnable game, if you start 0-2 and you lose to the Washington Commanders, which is a very winnable game, your season will be over. The Giants' schedule gets awfully difficult after those first two games. How about we start 1-1? How about we start 2-0? And we could be recklessly optimistic on this channel, because there will be no channel on YouTube that is more fun if the Giants are winning. I can promise you that, because I know how to have some damn fun. I also know how to not have fun. And I didn't have fun having filming today's video. I want to have fun. I want to talk about how good they are. But I'm not going to lie to you. I won't do it, because I respect you guys too much. Question before we bounce on out of here is this: should the starters play versus the Jets this Saturday? Give me your thoughts in the comments section.